I've noticed in the last couple of videos that once I get to talking here, I just start talking immediately and it's cutting off um, where I'm starting here. So let me try to not be so impatient as to not cut myself off here. Okay. It would help if I turned my notifications off before I get on here now, wouldn't it? Okay, well, happy Friday to everyone. Thank you and welcome to the new people who have recently joined this channel. I think there's someone here. Hey, Rachel. Should have known it was you. So I'm going to wait for a few people to get on here. And, oh, hello, Renee. Hi, how's it going? Um, so this is part 2 from the last video. And there's some things that I find pretty entertaining about the last video. And one of those things is that I had made a comment in the last video how much I really enjoy like the macrocosmic view, like the larger overview of what's going on with the planet, the solar system, our sun, all of that, as opposed to, hello, Colette, as opposed to the personal side or the relationship side. Now, Spirit has an incredible sense of humor. As soon as I stopped that last video, ended it, and rewatched it, the information about the personal level or the microcosmic level started coming through to me immediately. And it was amazing because it had connected so many incredible dots and answered so many incredible questions, not only that myself, not only that I've had for myself in my life, but for all of you guys as well too. So in the last year of me doing tarot readings, the biggest question has been, after giving that person the reading, is when will what I experience energetically or on a feeling level coming to me, because we feel it energetically before it shows up physically. So the most asked question in my tarot readings for the last year has been, when is this thing that I'm going to experience energetically or in a feeling sense going to move into my physical reality? Now, as you guys know, because many of you watching this channel have had readings with me, my answer has always been, I don't know the answer to that, but I would like to have the answer for that for my own physical reality and my own unquenchable need for personal information as well. So this is going to be part 2, and this is going to be about how the Saturian matrix was controlling us on a personal level, and how that matrix also had a big part in the karmic situations in our life and what we can now expect now that that has been disengaged. Now I'm guessing, like I said in the last video, when I saw that or experienced that, I figured it was going to happen in about 48 hours, because energetically, when I see those kinds of things like solar flares and other cosmic events that are affected by our energy, by what's going on planet-wide, and also the control manipulation tactic on the planet as well, usually we're talking 48 hours. But some really huge pieces came through or came together for me in regard to this. And part of that has to do with a video that I made, I want to say about 4 or 5 months ago, where I referred to the grid holders starting to move around. And when I was talking in that video, I'm not sure which video that was actually, because I went back looking for it today, and I thought it was called The Great Migration of the Birds, but I do not see a video with that title. So in that video that I was talking about that, I was referring to us, the human conduits on the earthly grid or the ley lines, um, having some sort of energetic event that was going to enable or invite us to now move from the location we've been. There have been a lot of people in the last several years that have wanted to move, but it has not come into their physical reality. And there are many factors that play into that. But the biggest one that I'm seeing is the fact that as a conduit of light, you are needed on a certain ley line or a certain parallel line as as a holder of the stability for planet Earth. So there you go. There's your introduction. There's what this video is going to be about. While I'm waiting for a few more people to get on here, I'm going to talk about what happened to me on a personal level. And it looks like you guys are dropping off. So I will not even say anything about me and technology because let's not go there. But anyway, on a personal level, there's been some very interesting and somewhat intense things happening for me. The first one is my ability to be, and the ability that I've had since I was a child, to be invisible when I needed to be invisible. So if I was walking in the middle of the ghetto, as a woman, I would just make myself invisible. And that has worked for me for close to 4 decades now. So the first thing is I'm outside a lot. I walk a lot in the city, and I've had a problem being safe walking in the city because people don't see me in the crosswalks. It's been a real problem. So as a teenager, I used the invisibility factor when I needed to keep myself safe, walking through a bad part of town or walking at night by myself as a female, things like that. I would turn it on and off. In 2017, it became a totally different game for me. So I went from using it to when I needed to use it to having a big frequency gap. And if there was a large frequency gap between me and the general public, wherever I might have been at that moment, people were not seeing me. So one day when I was shopping in Walmart, I got hit with a cart 3 times, almost hard enough to knock me over. And the people that ran into me did not stop. They did not apologize. They hit me and just walked away. Now that's like hitting a car with your car and not noticing or not feeling the impact. I'm not sure how that's possible, but that was my reality. So after the 3rd time that this happened to me in Walmart, we were I was not pushing the cart. My boyfriend at the time was pushing the cart. And we had gone over to the shampoo aisle. And I had reached up to the shelf to grab shampoo for myself. And when I did, my own boyfriend hit me so hard with the cart after he saw me get hit by 3 other people that he pushed me into the shampoo shelf and I about fell over. And I turned around and gave him the evil eye. And he's like, "What? I didn't even see you." And I'm like, "Are you freaking kidding me? My own boyfriend can no longer see me." So there had become this incredible energetic gap between me and other people, which did not allow those other people to see me. Very strange. And it wasn't the fact that everybody didn't see me. It's just that a lot of the population wasn't seeing me. So that makes jogging and walking in the city quite a challenge. I've taken to wearing really bright clothes or making a lot of noise or something when I go to cross the street, but it doesn't seem to have an effect. So I've had an invisibility shield that I can turn on my whole life. In 2017, it became automatic. And what happened to me last week, I was out walking and everybody saw me. Construction workers saw me, the people in cars saw me, other people on the sidewalk saw me. Now, if you've been seen your entire life, you're going to think, well, it sounds crazy that I'm telling you that people are now seeing me. But I have not been seen my entire life, and I have not been heard my entire life. However, there were a multitude of things that happened to me in the last couple days that let me know that I was now being seen. So the first was last week when I walked, and the people in cars and the people walking saw me for the first time in my life ever. Every single person that I passed saw me, and this has never been the way it's been for me. So that was really, really just a strange thing for me, right? So I thought maybe it was just my energy that day. Um, Maybe it wasn't permanent, right? And then this is really super embarrassing, and I told Rachel this already, but I went to Marshall's department store with my mom. And I thought, I hate dressing rooms. I always have fluorescent lighting, etc., etc. It's just a lot of fuss for nothing. And I'm low maintenance, right? So I'm standing in the aisle in the middle of the store and I pull my sweatshirt off over my head and I just started I just started trying sweaters on in the middle of the store. And everybody was looking at me like, what are you doing? It was so bizarre. And then I was just like this, like I went to cover myself up. But again, I'm just not used to people seeing me. And I honestly thought that energetically, when I was walking and everybody was seeing me, that it was just a fluke or my energy that day, or maybe the planetary energy that day. I was blaming it or thinking it was something energetic. And when I got half naked in Marshall's in the middle of the aisle and was standing there, just my bra and and my pants on, I realized, oh shit, no, it wasn't just that day. People can actually see you now. And I was horrifically embarrassed and very quickly put my clothes back on. There is something really strange about this. So it's not just that energetically something shifted and I'm now being seen in physical reality. Um, And I'm not saying this just to talk about myself, because I know that many of you are also invisible part of the time or half of the time. And I'm wondering how many other people are experiencing a change in this right now. The other thing was, those were two incidents that I know that a group of us that have the ability to be invisible or energetically, unconsciously are appearing invisible to other people are becoming visible. But spirit went so far, higher self went so far to let me know exactly how I was going to be seen. So my mom and I are standing in line. If you've ever been to Marshall's or TJ Maxx or Home Goods, you know there's like the great aisle of fun on the way up there, right? So when you're standing in line for a long time, which it seems you almost always are at those stores, there's all kinds of things to entertain you. They've got food up there and coffee mugs and candles, and it goes on and on and on, right? So we started at the beginning of the line, and my mom and I are joking, and my mom says, "Do you need a candle?" And I said, "Of course I do." So we start picking out a candle, and we're giggling, and there's like 7 or 8 people in line behind us, and everybody's quiet, like no one else is speaking. And my mom and I are just acting like, school kids and having a great time. And so then we move up a little bit further and she's like, "Oh, I think you need a mug." So she then buys me like this stainless steel water cup, and we're giggling and carrying on. And this entire time, this really gorgeous man behind me in the line, about three people back, is staring at me the entire time. And when I look up at him, or when I look at him, he doesn't look away. He just continues to stare at me. It's really, really strange. And so we were in line for probably 20 minutes. This man stared at me for 20 minutes. And every time I went back to talking to my mom and I'd look back up and he was still staring at me. So I finally, I finally just like smiled and waved at him. And the reaction was something that I didn't understand at first. In fact, it took me a day or two to understand what his reaction to seeing me was. Very strange. Like he didn't smile back or wave back or anything. He just looked like, oh my gosh, like, how did you see me? So the way I'll describe this scenario is the way that the interpretation came to me through spirit. Okay, I'm seen. I got that message twice. But the thing was, while I was being seen by this man, for some reason, he didn't think that I could see him. So it was like I was on video or like television. Now, if you're sitting around by yourself, you may be watching television in your underwear or, I don't know, brushing your hair or brushing your teeth or doing stuff, watching TV that you wouldn't do if someone was sitting across the table from you, right? There are things you wouldn't do in people's company, you would do in private. And that's what it was coming through to me. It was like he didn't expect the wave or the smile from me because to him, it was like he was watching a video or he was watching television. So you don't expect your television to respond, right? You wouldn't be sitting around in your underwear. Well, maybe you would, but most of us wouldn't be sitting around in our underwear or brushing our teeth at the dining room table while someone's sitting there. So he was literally acting like he was watching me from the comfort of his own home. He did not expect that while he was watching me, there would be any kind of interaction or anything. So that talks about us being seen and being heard on an external level in the world for this work that we're doing right now. So I find that really fascinating. Now, in the last video, unplugging of the Saturian matrix, I spoke about the fact that that matrix electromagnetically was controlling the Earth's ley lines, or polluting them, I should say, and controlling or also polluting the body's meridian system or the body's ley lines. So I'm rewatching the video I made a couple days ago about the Saturian unplug and the macrocosmic, or the larger picture of what that means for the body and for planet Earth. And while rewatching, I was pretty astounded by the information that came through because it was connecting the dots of the things that I've been talking about. A lot of times I will get on here and talk about something that I don't even have any idea about. And so in the video that I believe was late summer, early fall, I was talking about the fact that there was going to be an energetic event that was going to allow and invite people on certain grid lines to start moving around. At the time when I made that video, I had no idea that was going to come through. It's something that literally I pulled in as a channel of energy and out my mouth it came. What I said to you at that time was I didn't understand, or I didn't know yet what that energetic occurrence was going to be that was going to allow and invite people to move. Now, if you're like me, you've known for quite a while that you're going to be moving and maybe you weren't sure what the catalyst was to that move. I can, I'm completely honest and transparent with you guys. I didn't not know what the catalyst to that move was. And in the video, just to briefly go back, because there are many people here that weren't here then, I had said that there was a relationship dynamic, a soul to soul connection, the highest kind of connection on this planet that many of us know we have signed up for. In readings, I have so many people saying to me, why is this thing not happening? And a lot of tarot readers like to chalk that up to divine timing, and nothing could be further from the truth, honestly. But if I was to have a reading or a conversation with a neighbor, let's say, and they say, I'm doing this, this, and this, but it's not working in my life, it's not manifesting anything, I can usually say to that person, it's your self talk. There's something in physical reality that's keeping you from the relationship contract that you signed up for. But the people that I've been giving tarot readings for, I could not give them an answer because they were not doing anything to block themselves or sabotage their own energy. And so the biggest question of tarot readings for the entire last year is, when will the feeling of what I feel is to come, or what I energetically sense, or what I'm intuiting is going to come within this relationship dynamic? Why is this not happening? What am I doing? What is the holdup? So every tarot reader will tell you, if you're doing the things that you should be doing on your journey for self-growth, and you're not resisting your own energy or creating your own obstacles, that it's divine timing. But when I made that video, like I said, I did not realize what the catalyst event was that was going to have people moving. So briefly in that video, I said people who signed up for this beautiful romantic soul contract, and yes, from a quick overview, that's what it is. But it is the contract of healing self, becoming highest version of self, healing your relationships. These contracts are people that we run into over and over and over again. And though we may not remember it at a cellular level, we do. And it's very, very powerful and very emotional. So that catalytic event that I did not understand was the unplugging of the Saturian matrix. And what I had described in that video from a couple months ago was the fact that whatever it was for you, it could have been a job, it could have been a marriage, it could have been some kind of family contract, it could be a family business contract, whatever the reason was for you to be in a separate geographical location, that was a third dimensional barrier that needed to be overcome. That was an energetic obstacle. No matter what department your obstacle was in, relationships, jobs, family dynamics, it was something energetically that had to be overcome. You had to put yourself, just like me and all of us, in the driver's seat of our lives and fix those things, or leave behind those things in the third dimension that don't serve the highest version of ourselves. Because this love contract is about healing yourself, being the highest version of yourself, and healing that dynamic where you had this past life connection and all of the stuff that goes into that. The reason this love contract is directly tied to healing self, healing relationships, and healing the planet is because the relationship obviously is not about love at the macrocosmic level. It's about healing the planet and the new direction of ascension that the planet is on. So if we are to stay on planet Earth like a flea and a dog, the Earth is ascending, so we must then ascend. So having that question that I could never answer for myself or for any of you guys, why do I feel the energy so strongly of A, B, and C happening, yet it's not happening, and there's nothing that I'm throwing up as my own personal roadblock or challenge? And like I said, I knew that was a thing. The matrix of Saturn being unplugged affects us in a multitude of ways. Okay. The first thing I want you to know is that you and I, and all of us as a group, have been the antidote to a particular frequency coming from the Saturn matrix, and that is why we are on a certain ley line. Now, I'm on the 39th parallel, okay? And so what I've noticed is the people that I talk to on a regular basis, and many deep connections, are all on that, also on that 39th parallel as well. So your body is a conduit on that particular grid, on that particular ley line, was the antidote to what they were doing with control and manipulation through the Saturian matrix. Now that that's unplugged, you are free to move. Okay. And this means this is huge because you are such an incredible conduit, and that matrix was messing with, downgrading, blocking you from making 3D changes. And one of those 3D changes it was blocking you from making was a physical relocation. Now, this has nothing to do with you as an obstacle. This has to do with you as a conduit. So if there was a big manipulation, fear, agendic program running, we, our partners and the people we're closest with that also have the same soul contract, different groups are on different parallels. You may look and see where you are. I am on the 39th, and like I said, I've noticed an incredible connection with people on the 39th parallel. So for many decades, you have literally been, your body as an energetic conduit has been the antidote to that matrix. Now, how long it takes for you to experience these things that you're feeling energetically moving into the physical depends on quite a few things. Of course, it depends on you as well. So the analogy that to me that I saw when understanding this on a microcosmic or personal level was this. Let's say you've been playing tug of war for a year, 5 years, whatever, with becoming the highest version of yourself, not because of your own blockage again, or your own roadblock or your own obstacle, but because of the energetics that this matrix put out. It was a tug of war all the time between being the highest version of me, you being the highest version of you. So we were in a tug of war, literally a tug of war within our energetic field of this is the future of where I'm going. And you know that, right? You know where you're going. You energetically know, even if you're not completely conscious, but many of you are also completely conscious of where you're going, the fact that you're moving, how you're going to be helping the planet, those kinds of things. So this tug of war was not between you and your partner, or you and your family, or you and your job. The tug of war was between you and the matrix running as a cube around planet Earth coming from Saturn. So when this is unplugged, you know what it's like when you're in tug of war and the other side lets go, right? You go back. So that is what is happening to us now, which means it is freeing us up to move geographically. And it's also, okay, so macrocosmic to microcosmic, or big picture to the personal level. All of these energetic stoppages or blockages within the ley lines were also happening within your body. So let's say you wanted to quit this job, or you wanted to quit, move, or you wanted to disengage from toxic family. You know those things, okay? You're conscious of them. You know it's the right thing to do, but there is an energy. I won't say it was completely stopping you because it's not that much in control of us, but let's say it was a really strong electromagnetic resistance to the people, places, things, and directions that we know we're moving in. So this unplug literally freed us, okay, in a very jarring way, just like playing tug of war with a rope. This is going to have us seeing many, many, many changes. And it finally answered the biggest question of tarot in this last year is when is the energy of what I feel, what I see, what I intuit, and what I know is the magic in my life that's coming, how long before physical reality? Well, boomerang, because the tug of war between you, your highest version of self, these relationship contracts and all of that has been let go of with that matrix. Now, different people will acclimate to that at different times. But let's say you wanted to move and there was an energetic blockage because of that, okay? That's removed. It will take some time to dissipate. I will not tell you that I know the time it takes to dissipate. But I will say it like this. If you sleep with the fan on all summer long and fall comes and you no longer need that fan, you go through like a withdrawal of not hearing that noise or feeling that having that hum or that vibration or whatever. It's no longer there. But how long does it take you to sleep without the fan? Is it 2 days? Is it 2 weeks? Are you using the fan all winter around? I know several people that can't let go of the fan when they go from summer to winter. So it depends on the resistance within your body as well, but also the thoughts. Because if you know energetically you were stuck before, and even though you didn't know it had anything to do with the Saturian matrix, it has been let go of. So if you're trying to detach, yes, let's have no tax. Let's detax. Let's do that as well. Detach from toxic jobs, toxic family members, toxic situations, or just situations that bring more growth, momentum, and speed to the highest version of yourself. That is gone, you guys. And that is amazing, amazing news. So let's say you put in for a transfer to relocate at work and you've been doing that for years and there was resistance. That resistance is gone. If you were in a toxic relationship of any kind and you wanted to get out of that, but there is resistance within you, within the other person, within your family, within whatever, it's gone. But it's really important for you to realize that it's gone. Because if you think that it's still there, it will still be there, at least temporarily. Like I said, I don't know how long it's going to last. That's why I compare it to sleeping with the fan on, because that definitely gave a vibration to the grids of the planet, the ley lines of the planet, but also the meridians of the body as well. So now we have to get used to that not being there. Now, people always think if you're in a bad situation or a toxic situation or in a situation where your body is being electromagnetically or electrically stimulated in a bad way and that gets turned off, that's good. And that is good, but there is still a physical and energetic acclimation period, and that's what we're going through now. So everyone that's had a reading for me that asked how long these amazing, beautiful, magical things that I feel are going to take to come into my physical reality, that starts now. So that's super, super important. Because like I said, if I am on the 39th parallel with a big chunk of you also on that 39th parallel, we were doing a specific job, we were a specific antidote to the Saturian matrix on the 39th parallel. Not saying you have to be, you could be on the 34th or the 20th or whatever, but I'm just saying, if you were needed at a specific geographical location because of some electric fence type of energy, it's gone. You are free to move. Now we still have to go through the 3D motions of separating from our family, or perhaps filing a divorce, or turning in notice to leave one job and finding another. We still have to go through those motions. What I'm telling you is so incredibly important. We are no longer energetically being held back from what we want. And again, we still do have to do the technicality, the legality, all of that stuff, because we are in 3D. This is incredibly, incredibly exciting to me. I thought it was very humorous that spirit and higher self, to me, it's like, to people that, like, it's not like higher self is like telling jokes or anything, but the way in which things are going, um, I love that. I had done a little mini tarot reading for myself, and it was beautiful. And I was like, oh, I love this. When is that happening, right? And tarot, the timing in tarot was so not easy to pin down with anything. I mean, the different suits represent weeks and months and days and years. So you have that as kind of a guideline, right? Um, but anyway, so I had this beautiful reading and I was like, oh, yes, I love it. I'll take it. Okay, what's the timing? And a card fell out and it was the Wheel of Fortune. I mean, tell me that spirit does not have a sense of humor. I asked what time, and spirit says, what time? Wheel of Fortune, what time? It's on divine timing. So there's your answer. Divine timing has a lot to do with the electronic or electromagnetic manipulation, control, fear-based thing that was run. It's no longer being run. We still have to go through the physical motions, the technicalities, the legalities, whatever, but the resistance is just not going to be there. The last thing I want to talk about is karmic situations. Oh joy, oh joy. And the reason why I want to talk about karmic situations is because those are directly tied to control, manipulation, and fear. I can't lose this job, or I can't leave this job because of this, this, and this. I can't leave this relationship because of what my family thinks, or my parent, or what the church would think, or whatever, right? So those things. And we still have to go through that. But that charge, that electromagnetic resistance, that tug of war between you and the Saturian matrix is no longer there. So what that means in a karmic situation is this. In a karmic situation, what happens is the karmic situation is over, not when you do all this stuff or legalities, technicalities. Karmic situations are over when one person in the situation realizes their power, changes, and strengthens their spiritual journey. Karma between two people is over when one person pulls into their center, realigns with their personal power on this spiritual journey. It's over. That's when the karma is over. The gap in the karmic situation between two people, a family, whatever it is, whatever that karmic situation is, there becomes a gap. So one person has chosen ascension, the other person has not. There's a gap. It's a problem. Fights, arguments, karmic crap comes up. You all know this. We're all experiencing this. And the one person shifts into their power. The other person doesn't like it, doesn't understand it. That's when the real problems and physicality, the arguing and all that other stuff, fun stuff happens, right? But then the shift will make it so that the gap between these two people is so wide that the one person, it's such a simple concept. Why am I having an issue with this? The karmic situation is over when one person pulls into their personal power, changes, and strengthens the dynamic, the highest version of self on their spiritual journey. The gap becomes bigger and bigger until that situation falls apart. Other person doesn't have to understand what your perspective is. They don't have to understand what the lesson is. All you have to do is know that your own spiritual strength and power on this journey is what ends that karmic situation. Now, if you're thinking, Tina, how is this related to any of this? Because that electric fence was keeping people in a fear, control, manipulation, static, if you will, about having that fear to get out of that person, place, or thing that was a karmic situation. Now, karmic situations don't just apply to people. As I said, I'm on the 39th parallel with many of you because we signed up for this soul to soul contract, which is about, in the end, healing planet Earth. And we couldn't heal planet Earth without us being connected on the ley lines very, very strategically. So I encourage you to look at where you, your family, your friends are that you've connected all over the globe. I encourage you to look at that and see if they are not on the same parallel. So the energy of resistance coming from the Saturn electric fence around Earth being unplugged means that instead of going round and round and round mentally in your heads and your thoughts, being stuck in a mentally imposed prison that was your situation, but it was also being fed by this electronic mechanism. Okay. So again, still legality, technicality, relocation, all of those things, you're going to have to play that out in a physical way. But these karmic bonds were being electronically strengthened, controlled, manipulated, as well from this. So that is let go. Everything's gonna, I'm not saying life is gonna be easy peasy. I'm not saying that. I'm saying a big energy has let go, and we should be able to make decisions, speak to people about it, and then make them happen. Okay. There's no longer an energetic resistance on a global level to what you're doing. And that's why I see a lot of people now getting ready to move. And when I had talked about us and referred to us as birds, because we are messengers, we are conduits of light on this planet within this universe. So initially, at the unplugging, people will start to move. Okay. There is a front line or a front row that will move first. So let's say my other half is in Hawaii. Okay. So next month I move to Hawaii. By having that personal power and leaving the grid station that I've had, my entire life now, almost with the exception of a little travel here and there, will open things up. So my power at a 10, your power in Hawaii at 10, my partner, I move there, and then we become 1,000 on a different grid point. But after that, we're going to we're going to move around and travel. And so it's not stationary anymore. What I'm saying is most of us have been stationary for decades. Some of us have been a place here for a couple years, place here for a couple years. You might have moved around your own state. You might have been someone that moved from state to state, but still on that 39th parallel. Let's say you lived in California a couple times, and you moved to Colorado, and then you moved to Ohio. Okay. I'm saying when you have been moving around, you'll notice in that case, Colorado, California, Ohio, that you've been moving around on the 39th parallel ley line. So I think it's fascinating to me anyway. Look that up if you're encouraged. So By me being a 10 and you being a 10 and us moving together to Hawaii, that creates 1,000. And what that 1,000 does is it pushes that domino down on that grid and brings the next group of people together in this contractual union that we signed up for to heal ourselves, each other, the relationship dynamic, set a new relationship paradigm, a new healing paradigm, and a new earth. That's what we came here for. And that's what this contract is all about. Now, hopefully, you beautiful people, I know there's hesitation for me when it comes to talking about the microcosmic, the personal level, not because I don't want to talk about personal, but people are like, oh God, I want to hear about all this other amazing stuff. I don't want to hear about the relationship dynamic or whatever, but I'll tell you, and spirit tells me again and again and again, Tina, there is no difference. It's just when you look at what I say on a microcosmic level, you can turn around and apply that to the world on the macrocosmic level and vice versa. So it didn't all come through in the last video, thank God, because it would have been 3 hours long. But this is the microcosmic or the personal view, the upload, the download, and the down low on your physical move. I'm not saying all of you are moving, a huge group of you will be moving. Now, what was really interesting was after I made the last video and then turned around and got the information about the personal level, 3 people reached out to me, and one was like, I'm thinking about moving from Colorado to Alabama. Oh, I'm thinking about moving from Tennessee to Ohio. Oh, I'm thinking about moving from California to Alaska. And I was like, oh, wait a second. Oh, wait a second. I'm just sitting here just saying people are going to start moving. Okay? It's beautiful. I'm up for company. You know who you are. And until next time, peace and planetary healing. I love you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your incredible love. And thank you for all the haters on Facebook that commented and reacted to my last unplugging of the Saturn Matrix video, to the point of 75% more people seeing my video than have ever seen my video, even though they were hating, calling me crazy, and posting music. They posted the song Insane in the Membrane. I really like that song. But yes, the haters ended up getting my video in circulation. 75% than it is, because every time I transfer from YouTube to Facebook, there's like maybe 20, 25 people seen it. Thank you to the haters. It's been seen by like 150 people now. Incredible. The Matrix has been unplugged. And until next time, thank you, thank you, thank you.